I've never even seen anything this big. How did I just pull this from my lawn? Hi guys. So beautiful out. My lawn got cut today, but they didn't weed anything. So I was like, ugh. I'm looking at these rocks and there's all these weeds and I'm like, I'm totally going out there. So I have these huge piles here. Let me show you so that you know I'm for real trying to do some work here. Here's my blue blanket. I was sitting there like weeding my rocks. That's a pile there. So I took a bunch out. I guess I have to ask them to weed for them to weed, but it got me thinking. It got me thinking. So let me sit down while you guys jump on. Hi, Trisha. Hi, guys. Thanks so much. So I was weeding. Now my nails are like black. And, you know, guys, how often do you weed? Like constant, right? Like I feel like that's why I don't have a garden, because it's so much work. It's so much work, right? It's like you have to water every day or everything will die. You need to know how to fertilize, like so much work. And so I'm pulling these weeds and I'm like, oh my God, this is just like our minds. It's just like our minds. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Valerie. Thanks for popping in. I had a moment of thought while I was pulling weeds in my backyard. I figured I'll share it with you guys. Hi, Jennifer. So yeah, I do some yard work. I pull weeds because you have to every day, right? And it just got me thinking, you know, when you maintain a garden, it's constant daily behaviors, right? You're constantly watering, you're constantly pulling weeds, you're constantly getting rid of, I mean, it's like our head, okay? It's just crazy. Our mind is actually, the natural state of our mind is like weeds. In today's world, it's kind of like, that's where the baseline. And we actually have to weed it or it becomes just straight up weeds. Hi, Missy. But like weeding a garden, which I'm trying to do, or weed my sidewalk, it's tedious, it's boring, it's a pain in the butt, you don't really want to do it, right? But if you don't, what happens? Goodbye, garden. My house will look like crap. Like, you have no choice. I feel like you have to do it or it's just gonna take over your mind, right? Takes over your garden, it takes over your mind. So you kind of have to be on alert. You have to be constantly aware of like what's going on in your head, or literally the weeds will just like take shape and they'll just grow everywhere. Does that make sense? I hope so. I mean, it's totally natural. You know, life's hard. We tend to focus on negative. So it's not abnormal if you're that way. It's not like you're strange. It's completely normal. But we have to notice it. We have to be aware of it. You know, do you ever talk to that person that every time you talk to them, you're like, oh boy, they're a long day. Oh, yeah, well, this happened to me today. Oh, yeah, well, right, guys? The truth is, in general, that's kind of our norm. The difference is people that do something about it and people that don't. People that let the weeds kind of take hold and like take over. So how do we do that? So if you think this is helpful for anyone and you think they need to hear it, feel free to share. And I don't mean your gardening friends, because they already know this. So the truth is, and we all have heard this is not news. This is not enlightening. I'm just reminding you that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So our environment is the #1 deterrent of where the weeds grow and how fast they grow, because because who we surround ourselves with is going to basically have that level of an impact. So you really have to look at the people you spend the most time with, their attitudes, their habits, their income, their behavior. And I think sometimes, because I've heard this before, because I work with people all day, they're like, yeah, but I'm like on the top of the, like, everyone I'm surrounded with, like, my income's the highest, my attitude's the highest, I work out, I eat right. And see, that's not good. You want to be the lowest. You don't want to be the top of your 5 because it's the average. So what's going to happen is your income will drop, your motivation will drop, your behavior will drop, your attitude will drop. You actually want to surround yourself with people that are like ridiculously positive. Like you're almost like in awe of them. Like, how are they that positive? How are they that successful? What are they doing? You don't want to be at the top. Okay, so we've all heard that before. And then feeding your mind. So just like a garden, you have to fertilize it. I never know how much to give or what to do. I kill everything. Although, I will say, we've had a mild summer, so my flowers look really good right now. But again, if I don't weed, that's not going to be the case, right? If I don't weed, that's not going to be the case. As beautiful as my flowers are, you're going to walk into my house and go like this. Look, check out all her weeds. You're not going to see my beautiful flowers. You're going to see my weeds. So I had to pull them, right? So it's also feeding your mind. So feeding your mind. So easy to get caught up in the news, the radio. There's so much negativity. I mean, it is just reasonable that it would drive anybody freaking like just give up. Just give up right now. Or like, apparently my life's pretty good because I watch the news and everything else sucks, so I must be doing okay. And you're like, okay, so let's settle for mediocre because we're not on the news, right? So I try, or I definitely try every day to do personal development, right? It started years ago when I was working full time. I would do all my personal development in the car. I never listened to the radio when I started coaching. But what happens is, being home, it's easy to get off task. I'll say things like, well, I listened to a training video, so that was my personal development. So what I found the last few days is I felt a little down. Like, I didn't know what was wrong. And I remember thinking, like, what is wrong with you? Like, there's nothing wrong, so what's wrong? You know, it's not like anything happened. There was nothing bad happening. So I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, what's your problem, Shane? Like, freaking stop it. I couldn't figure it out. And so today, I'm like, I stopped listening to personal development consistently every day. So I immediately went into a thread with a couple leaders that I work with, and I said, give me a book. What are you guys reading? Talk to me. I've hated the book on my audible.com. Give me something. And I downloaded a book today. You know, and it's human nature. It's normal. Like, we get away from it. It just happens. You have to just be aware and be like, something's wrong. Like, I have to have self-awareness. What's going on? And I was like, and so I started it today, and I just immediately felt, I mean, I didn't feel great. It's not like it was magic, but I was like, oh. Turned things around. It's kind of like a blood transfusion. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I can't really explain it. And it just reinforced how it's a constant battle. You have to, like, literally stand guard to your head. Like, head, stay focused. Stop saying, I suck, I can't, look at her, looking at everybody else on Facebook, and blah, 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 and you suck, and, you know, why didn't you do this today? Why didn't, you know, all of that. And I was like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So think about that. I got to go wash my hands because there's dirt in my fingers, but I'm weeding the weeds. It's just like our head. It's constant, it's rigorous, it's tedious, it's boring, but if we don't do it, we fall victim of just our reality. Like life, look what's happening in everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And it's easy to say, wow, even when life is really good and we're so blessed, why don't I feel that happy? Why don't I feel like I want to do more? Why don't I do more? Well, it's because we're bogged down. We're not watering. We're not fueling ourselves. We're surrounding ourselves with people that, we're kind of comfortable with. Like, this is okay. We're not feeding our mind. We're listening to the news. We're listening to the radio. And I don't mean don't be informed, but not all the time. So, guys, if you don't have audible.com, get it. Because I personally don't like to read. If you like to read, just do 20 minutes a day of something. So the book I'm reading right now has a bad word in it. So I don't want to say it on Facebook Live. But I put it in my stories if you want to take a look. There's another great book called Grit. There's Unlimited by Jillian Michaels. There's The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Oh my God, I could go on for a year. Just read something. If you want a recommendation, just private message me. So that's it. It's a constant battle. And you could turn it around just like that. Just like that. Yeah, Candace, no doubt. I bet that doesn't surprise me, Candace, because you're incredibly positive, but life is hard, right? Things get tough. Can you imagine if you didn't do Audible? Can you imagine if you didn't listen to personal development? Like, forget it. The weeds would just be like, psh, psh. Like my sound effects. Oh, okay. I gotta cook dinner. It's so late, I know, but that's how I roll. Feed your mind with positive, uplifting material. Surround yourself with people that you aspire to be like, that bring out the best in you, that want success for you, maybe more than they even want it for themselves. And do it every day. Every single day, because otherwise, man, with that, I'm out. All right, guys, thank you. I feel better. I hope that helped a little bit. All right, I'll see you soon. Candace, good job, girl. I knew you'd get back at it because you said you were gonna. It was accountability. You said, I'm going to start working out Monday, and you did. All right. I'm going to go put my weeds in a bag